Chicago's connection to political conventions goes back a long way, and a unique bookshop in the city has put together a new exhibit showing off artifacts tied to the Republican National Convention of 1860.
Noel Brennan gives us a tour.
Every historical artifact has its own story. This head was here when I first came to the shop in 1971.
An 86-year-old Chicago bookshop is young compared to its contents.
Everything is old here. Nothing is new, sorry.
Everywhere you look inside the Abraham Lincoln bookshop, there's a lot of Lincoln.
There's Lincoln, three-dimensional. I don't have to use a photograph. There he is.
Daniel Weinberg is proud to show off presidential artifacts.
But I think this is probably the finest.
But especially now, before the Democratic National Convention.
It's going to highlight the history of the conventions. We've had so many here.
Presidential nominating conventions in Chicago date back 164 years.
Chicago has always been a hub for conventions.
Long before the United Center, there was the Wigwam.
It really was a pretty large hall for its day.
The temporary building near Lake and Wabash was built specifically for the Republican National Convention in 1860.
The Wigwam was built in about 5-6 weeks for about $5,000 to $7,000.
Weinberg has put together a special exhibit in time for the DNC.
So two of the pieces here were inside the Wigwam itself. This is one of the most delightful pieces that I've ever held. That's what he looked like with that tousled hair.
Weinberg says this colored handout, tossed from the second floor of the convention hall, is the first ever campaign image of Lincoln.
4 of them exist that we know of.
But this is one of a kind.
He got this and he had it in his pocket.
A business ad card turned into a tally card.
Base went from 48 to 35.
It documents the 3 votes it took to nominate Lincoln.
And the first tally, second, and third. And then 254, and he won. And that's why there's an Abraham Lincoln bookshop today.
A direct connection, and suddenly history doesn't feel so distant.
Touching an artifact brings you right back.
Noel Brennan, CBS News, Chicago.
The exhibit at the Abraham Lincoln Bookshop will be open for the next 3 weeks. It's in the River West neighborhood at Chicago and Ashland.